ఓకే స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం.
సరే.
ఓకే బుద్ధియుక్తో జహాతిహ
బుద్ధియుక్తో జహాతిహ
ఉభే సుకృత దుష్కృతే
ఉభే సుకృత దుఃఖృతే
తస్మాత్ యోగాయ యుజ్యస్వ
తస్మాద్యోగయుజ్యస్వ
యోగః కర్మసు కౌశలం.
యోగః కర్మసు
కౌశలం కౌశలం means art. కుశలం means you are good or not. కుశలంగా ఉన్నావా అంటే are you good. Kaushalam means it's an art. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Okay, purport chadu.
Since time immemorial, each living entity has accumulated the various reactions of his good and bad work. As such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional, which is one to surrender unto Lord Sri Krishna in all respects, and become liberated from the chained victimization of action and reaction, birth after birth. Arjuna is therefore advised to act in Krishna consciousness, the purifying process of resultant action.
It's a very interesting point it's made. Chained victimization. Victim ante enti? Like somebody comes and attacks you, you are an attack victim. Somebody steals your money, you are a robbery victim. So, in the same way, here victim means of action and reaction. So, you're doing so many actions, they're producing reactions, and you are being continuously victimized as a result. So, if we come to Krishna consciousness, which means chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, giving up bad habits, understanding that Krishna is supreme and that we have to work for Him, surrender to Him, then we get out of this action and reaction. Otherwise, we are all getting actions and reactions. Based on the action, we are born in a particular family, we have particular brothers and sisters, we have particular enemies, right? So everything follows based on our actions. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi
Karmajam buddhi yukta hi
phalam tyaktva manishinah
phalam tyaktva manishanaha
janma bandha vinirmuktaha
janma bandha vinirmuktaha
padam gachanti anamayam.
padam gachanti anamayam.
By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. Right? So to get free from cycle of birth and death, we have to engage in devotional service, means bhakti to the Lord. Bhakti doesn't mean just going to temple, putting $5 in hundi, folding hands. Bhakti means always understanding that Krishna is supreme, always understanding that we have to serve Him, always thinking of Him, always doing His work, reading the Bhagavad Gita, chanting His names. So it is not just like a Saturday morning thing going to temple like most people do. And then remaining 6 days, they forget about God. They forget about their duty towards God, like that. Okay, read the purport.
The liberated living entity belong to that place where there are no material miseries. The Bhagavatam says, Samashrita ye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punyasyo muraye pavam mudir vatsa padam param padam 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 yad vid padam nastasem. For one who has accepted the bow of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation, and is famous for Mukunda, or the giver of Mukti, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's footprint. Parampadam, or the place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikunta, is his goal, not the place where there is danger in every step of life.
Yeah.
Owing to ignorance, one does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there are dangers at every step. Out of ignorance only, less intelligent persons try to adjust to the situation by fruitive activities, thinking that the resultant actions will make them happy. They do not know that no kind of material body anywhere within the universe can give life without miseries. The miseries of life, namely birth, death, old age, and diseases, are present everywhere within the material world. But one who understands his real constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord, and thus knows the position of the personality of Godhead, engages himself in the transcendental, loving service of the Lord. Consequently, he becomes qualified to enter into the Vaikunta planets, there where there is neither material, miserable life nor the influence of time and death. To know one's constitutional position means to know also the sublime position of the Lord. One who wrongly thinks that the living entity's position and the Lord's position are on the same level is to be understood to be in darkness and therefore unable to position
Unable to engage himself.
himself in the devotional service of the Lord. He becomes a Lord himself, and thus paves the way for the repetition of birth and death. But one who, understanding that his position is to serve, transfers himself to the service of the Lord, at once becomes eligible for Vaikunta Loka. Service for the cause of the Lord is called Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, or in plain words, devotional service to the Lord.
Very good. So, what is your understanding of this verse?
Uh, One must engage himself with the Lord, and some miseries of life cannot be avoided anywhere.
So particularly the miseries of life named birth, old age, disease, and death. We are all born, right? We all have diseases from now and then. There was COVID 2 years ago. Some people got COVID. There is old age. Some people are getting old. And then there is death. Some people, like your grandfather, great grandfather, they are dying, right? So these miseries cannot be avoided. But while in the framework of these miseries, we need to serve God with our abilities, with our words, like reading Bhagavad Gita, with our money, by donating and distributing Bhagavad Gitas, with our time, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So basically, karmana, manasa, vacha. Karmana means action, manasa means mind, and vacha means words. So, what do we have? We have a body, we have a mouth. So, with mouth, we can make some foolish sounds like hoo, ha, hoo, like that in the rock music, or we can make important sounds like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, in this way, we can do this or that. Same mouth, same body, with the mind. With the mind, we can think, oh, how should I go and trouble somebody? Or with the same mind, we can think, oh, how can I think of Krishna? How can I praises, glories, like that. Same mind, right?
Yes.
So our body has so many facilities like thinking, feeling. You can touch something and you can feel. You
Yes.
can talk. You can walk. So you can walk to a bar and get drunk, or you can walk to the temple and take darshan of the Lord.
Um.
Right? Same legs. You can go this way or that way.
Yeah.
With the car, you can go to Disneyland, or you can go to the temple, or you can go, visit some Tirtha Yatra. With an aeroplane, you can go to Las Vegas and do gambling, or you can go fly to Tirupati and take darshan of Balaji, Venkateshwara. So is it the flight's fault? It's not the flight's fault. The flight can be used for good things or
But
Krishna things. Yeah? Or bad things. So there are multiple things, right? Even doing good things, sometimes you may do some good thing like just going meeting a friend, but better thing is to actually do Krishna things, which
yes.
means like if you have money, buy a flight ticket, go to Tirupati, take darshan of Balaji. You can use the same money to go to Houston and watch a ball game.
Yeah.
Watching a ball game is, I don't know, it is has zero use. Materially also it is zero use because you lose the ticket price, right? $100. Spiritually also zero use. With
Yes.
that money, might as well, accumulate that money 10 times, 12 times, $1,200 and then go to Vrindavan and visit the places where Krishna did his Leelas. Right?
Yes.
5060 years ago, Krishna did Leelas in a place called Vrindavan in Uttar Pradesh in India. So, same money, same aeroplane, but different activity and different results. If you use the money, go to Vrindavan, take darshan of the Lord, go around Govardhan Hill. It is 23 kilometers. You can walk in like 6 hours. You take one pradakshina or parikrama around Govardhan Parvat, and then you get so much, positive karma. And so why use money for something else, right? You have to use money. Ultimately, being selfish means what? Using the money so that yourself, the soul, is benefited. Not like we can use the same money, go to New York City, go to bar, get drunk. Maybe somebody will steal your wallet and get into big time trouble, right? So we have to think about what is good for us. We have to always think about what is good for the soul, Atma. Okay.
Yes.
Yada te
Yad yadate
mohaka kalilam
moha kalilam
buddhir
buddhir
vyatitarishyati
vyatatirishati
vyatitarishyati
vyatitarishyati
tada gantasi
tada gantasi
nirvedam
nirvedam
shrotavyasya
shrotavyasya
shrutasya cha
shrutasya cha
yada te mohakalilam
yadate moha kalilam
buddhir vyatitarishyati
buddhir vyatitatirashyate
tada gantasi nirvedam
tada gantasi nirvedam
shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
So this is an interesting. It's called an allegory, right? An allegory in English language is using X to define Y or describe Y, right? So here the allegory is dense forest. Suppose you are in a dense forest. Have you ever been to a dense forest? I mean, not on the road, but once you walk away from the road into the forest, there'll be a tree every 2 feet or 3 feet, right? So delusion means extreme confusion. Extreme confusion is like a dense forest. So here he is using the allegory of a dense forest, right? For a small boy, if you say, "Oh, look in the moon," he will look up. I'll say, "Where?" Then you take him to the window and you say, "See, in the window top corner, top right hand corner, you see that white round thing, that is the moon. So you are giving a frame of reference of the window frame,
Yes.
and then you are saying top right hand corner you see the moon. So in the same way, here you are using the example of forest of confusion or delusion to describe a point. So what does Krishna say? When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. So normally we hear so many things about cricket, about football, about Trump, about economy, about so many things, right? About some crime that has happened in Frisco. So we have to get out of this dense forest of all these topics
Yes.
and come to the main topic. What is the main topic? You are a soul, and Krishna is the super soul. He is like some combination of all souls plus something more, plus all the matter, plus all the universes. So he is like the superset of everything. In set theory, which you will learn in high school, superset means which includes all these small things.
Ah.
So our goal is to understand that superset of knowledge. Yeah, okay, cricket. Some guy, Vinod Kambli, did some run or something like that. How does that help us? I mean, it doesn't help us in
No.
any way, right? It just helps the TV channel to do some advertising and make money, and it helps the cricket board to make some money by selling tickets. But does it help us? No. What helps us is knowledge of the soul and knowledge of the super soul Krishna and how we go back to him,
Yes.
right? Okay, please read the purport.
There are many good examples in the lives of the great devotees of the Lord, of those who became indifferent to the rituals of the Vedas. Simply by devotional service to the Lord, when a person factually understands Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, he naturally becomes completely indifferent to the rituals of fruitive activities. Even though an experienced Brahma, Sri Madhavendra Puri, a great devotee and acharya in the line of the devotees, says, Sandhya Vandana Bhadram Astu Bhavato Bo Snana Tubhyam Namo Bo Deva Pitaras Chat Tarpana Vidau Naham Kshama Kshamatyam Yatra Kvapi Nisadya Yadava Kulotamasya Kamsa Dvishaha Smaram Agam Harami Tad Alam Manye Kim Anyena Me. Oh my prayer.
No, okay, 1 minute, wait there. You said Yadava, it is not Yadava, it is Yadava. Y-A, and on the A there is a dash, right?
Oh,
Yadava Kulottamasya. Yadava is like a race. Kula. Kula means race, right? I mean, modern times we call it caste, but caste is a wrong term. Kula means it's like the dynasty. Okay? And Kamsa Dvishaha. So the enemy of Kamsa, who is in the Yadava race, and Kula Uttama. Uttama means he is the highest in that race, right? Like that.
yeah.
And then what he's saying is normally Brahmanas are required to do prayers 3 times a day.
Ah.
So Madhavendra Puri is saying, O prayers, O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me because I don't have time to offer you my respects. Why? Because wherever I sit, I can remember the great descendant of Yadu dynasty, Krishna. And just by thinking of him, I can free myself from all sinful bondage. Right? We commit so many sins. You are walking on the road, you walk on an ant dies. That's a sin of killing an ant. But what can we do? I mean, there are ants everywhere. Right? You can be as careful as possible. But when you walk, you kill some ant. Killing any living entity, whether it's a chicken or a goat or a cow or even an ant, is sinful. Period. But then, for example, there is a rat in the temple. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, poor rat, let it be there. It can eat all the prasadam, it can chew through the curtains. Will you do that?
No.
No, you'll put a rat trap and get out of it.
Yes.
So here, killing a rat is for a higher purpose.
Yes.
But on your own, you don't go take needle and stick into the rat's body to trouble it, right? Because there you are doing it for your own pleasure or whatever, some crazy idea, thought. Yeah? But if it's there in the temple, you cannot say, "Oh, let the rat eat all the temple prasadam." No, you won't let it do it, right? Because then what if it poops in the prasadam and somebody eats that prasadam, they fall sick or they die? So you have a bigger problem on your hand.
Yes.
So in the same way, what he is saying is, oh prayers, oh devatas like Ganesha or Durga or Lakshmi Devi, oh forefathers like grandfathers, great grandfathers in the Vamsha that we come, we are supposed to pray to them. But Madhavananda Puri is saying, no, sorry, now I can only think of Krishna, and thinking of Krishna is on a higher platform than praying to you. So this is good enough. And forefathers are also very happy because they think that their descendant in their family has become such a great devotee, bhakta. So they are also happy. It's not about saying, oh, grandfather, how are you? Instead of doing that, you are actually taking care of our supreme great grandfather, Krishna. And then the whole chain from Krishna down to you is all satisfied.
Oh,
Otherwise, then you have to satisfy each one of them grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather. How many people are you going to satisfy? It's not actually technically possible, also, right? So, you just water the root. In the tree, you don't go and spray water on every leaf. What you do, you take a bucket of water and put it at the root. So, when you do that, the root will absorb the water, it will go through the stem, it will go through each branches, and then to each leaf. In the same way, when you water or when you pray to Krishna as the be all end all of everything, everybody in the universe is satisfied. Right? Like, for example, somebody may say, oh, I help 10 people in the hospital. But how many hospitals are there in the world? How many thousands of people? Can you help everybody? No. But by watering the root or praying to Krishna, then Krishna will help everybody, right? Right now, all the problems are coming because nobody is watering the root. They think that they can have a hospital and save 10 people, 100 people. But then there are thousands and thousands of people who are falling sick and dying.
yes.
So that is the thing. That is what Madhavendra Puri is saying. I'll just pray to you, Krishna. Now you run the show. Who am I?
Yeah.
Okay. Now read the second para.
The Vedic rites and rituals are imperative for neophytes, comprehending all kinds of prayer 3 times a day, taking a bath early in the morning, offering respects to the forefathers, etc. But when one is fully in Krishna consciousness and is engaged in his transcendental loving service, one becomes indifferent to all these regulative principles because he has already attained perfection. If one can reach the platform of understanding by service to the Supreme Lord Krishna, he has no longer to execute different types of penances and sacrifices as recommended in revealed scriptures. And similarly, if one has not understood that the purpose of the Vedas is to reach Krishna and simply engages in the rituals, etc., then he is uselessly wasting time in such engagements. Persons in Krishna consciousness transcend the limit of Sabda Brahma, of the range of the Vedas and Upanishads.
See, last line is always very powerful. Persons in Krishna consciousness transcend, means they cross over. Or the range of Vedas and Upanishads. Vedas and Upanishads give you how to live in this life. Of course, Upanishads also give you a lot of information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. But once you are fully Krishna conscious, always chanting his name, always thinking of Bhagavad Gita, always teaching other people Bhagavad Gita, then they don't have to think about these other rituals. Otherwise, there are so many rituals in Hinduism,
Yeah.
you will faint. if you count all of them. Like if you go to the Hanuman temple in Frisco, right? They are doing so many rituals there.
Yes.
For every puja, $51 here. That just to do all the pujas itself, your monthly budget should be $500.
Yeah.
So that's why Krishna is saying all these rituals are for neophyte. Neophyte means a beginner, right? A beginner needs to do all this just to focus his mind on the Lord. But when an advanced person is always focused on the Lord, then he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So we will stop there, and what we'll do is now we will chant, because theory is good, but chanting is most important.